Did you guys see this?
The motherfucker who said we're going to keep this thing going until people start losing their houses and their apartments. Listen to me, motherfucker. There's a lot of ways to lose your house. Some of it is financial. Some of it is karma. There's a lot of ways to lose your house. You wish that on people. You wish that families starve, because that's the kind of that stirs up. Peace out.
Yikes. Today we're talking about Iran reinstating mandates around the hijab in public, China regulating AI companies, a doctor who's profiting off amputees, and meth in your sushi. Yup. Hey internet, welcome back to another episode of the Insight Hour. As always, I'm the Digiman, your guide to all the things. Now let's go over some stuff we found over the weekend. Alice, show the fine people what's up first on the agenda.
Iran's morality police have resumed patrols to enforce the country's hijab laws, ensuring that women cover their hair with a headscarf in public. This development comes months after the death of a young woman, Mahsa Amini, who died in custody after being arrested in Tehran for allegedly violating the strict dress code for women. Amini's death sparked nationwide protests, leading to the temporary cessation of the morality police's patrols. The United Nations reports that these protests have resulted in over 300 deaths. Islamic hardliners have been demanding the resumption of these patrols, according to the BBC. Police spokesperson Saeed Montazir-Mahdi stated that officers will initially warn women who are not complying with the dress code rules.
Now, let's get some context. The hijab has been a symbol of modesty and privacy in the Muslim world for centuries. It's a personal choice for some women, a sign of their faith and identity. But like any piece of clothing, it should be a choice, not a mandate. But in Iran, the hijab has been a mandatory part of women's attire since the Islamic Revolution in 1979. And the enforcers of this rule? The morality police. Sounds like a rejected Marvel team. But superheroes, they are not. They patrol the streets detaining women not wearing a hijab in public. And it's not just a friendly reminder like, hey, you forgot your scarf. It's more like, hey, you forgot your scarf, now get in the van. Okay, so last year, the morality police were under scrutiny after the death of 22-year-old woman Mahsa Amini, who died in their custody, sparking a nationwide protest. The protests were a powerful rallying cry, with women playing a leading role. And it wasn't just about the hijab anymore. It escalated into calls to overthrow Iran's clerical rulers, whom the mostly young protesters accused of being corrupt, repressive, and out of touch. Now you'd think after such a backlash, the authorities would reconsider their approach, but no, they decided to double down. The morality police are back on the streets, and they're not just targeting everyday women anymore. They're going after celebrities. Just recently, and I'm sorry, I'm not going to try and pronounce these names, so we're just going to put them over here somewhere. Good, you got that? Cool. 2 actors were arrested, one for speaking out against the morality police, and the other was barred from social media and ordered to seek psychological treatment for antisocial personality disorder after appearing at a funeral wearing a baseball cap. So let's be honest, this isn't about preserving culture or religion. This is about control, and it's about the government using the guise of morality to suppress the voices and choices of its people. And that, my friends, isn't just immoral, it's blatant oppression. So here's to all the brave women of Iran who continue to stand up against this injustice. Your courage is an inspiration to all of us. And to the Iranian authorities, it's 2023, not 1923. It's time to let women decide what they want to wear, because at the end of the day, it's just a piece of cloth. Alice, next story.
New guidelines released by China on generative AI services. The Cyberspace Administration of China, CAC, has limited the public use of these services while promoting their industrial development. These interim regulations, which will take effect on August 15, apply only to organizations offering generative AI services to the public. The rules mandate that generative AI services must adhere to core values of socialism and not attempt to overthrow state power or the socialist system. The new rules have removed potential fines for violations that were present in the draft rules. China aims to strengthen its generative AI offerings and hopes to become the leading provider, challenging the current dominance of the US. However, the Chinese government has been cautious about the use of foreign AI tools like ChatGPT, fearing uncensored replies.
Oh yes, China, the country that brought you the Great Wall, the Great Leap Forward, and the not so great at all Great Firewall. So China has decided to release new guidelines on generative AI services. They're limiting public use while encouraging industrial development. It's like saying, hey, you can have all the cake you want as long as you're using it to build a cake factory. Now, these rules apply only to organizations offering generative AI services to the public. So if you're that private entity developing AI to, I don't know, teach pandas how to play chess, you're in the clear. But if you're trying to make a chatbot that can talk to the public about, say, the merits of democracy, well, you might run into a couple issues. Speaking of issues, these rules mandate that generative AI services must adhere to the core values of socialism and not attempt to overthrow the state power or socialist system. So it's more or less, you can build a robot, but it better not start quoting Thomas Jefferson, or else we're pulling the plug on that shit. Remember, this is the same government that has a stranglehold on the internet with the Great firewall. It's like a digital version of their Great Wall, but instead of keeping out Mongol invaders, it's keeping out memes, free speech, and any mention of a certain square in 1989. But who needs any of that stuff? Oh, and let's not forget, they've already been arresting people for using AI to write fake articles. I mean, if we were to start arresting people for fake news, we wouldn't even have enough room in our prisons for reality TV stars turned politicians. In the end, China's trying to balance innovation and public safety, which isn't going to be easy, and it's not like I've got an answer for it. I'm just a guy on the internet. It's a tricky act, and we'll have to see if they can pull it off without falling flat on their faces. Did you guys ever do something as a kid that you thought you were getting away with and you're just being super sneaky and awesome? Well, in today's That Moment Where... Anyways, next up.
Over the weekend, an article by the New York Times sought to shed light once again on the tragic story of Kelly Hanna, a patient who had her leg amputated in 2020 after a Michigan doctor, Dr. Jihad Mustafa, damaged her arteries by performing numerous artery opening procedures to clear away plaque. Dr. Mustafa told Hanna that these procedures would improve blood flow and prevent amputations. However, these procedures failed to do so for Hanna and many of his other patients.
So you may or may not remember Kelly Hanna, the woman who lost her leg after a Michigan doctor, Dr. Mustafa, performed numerous artery opening procedures on her, who ironically called himself the leg saver, promised Hanna that these procedures would enhance blood flow and avert amputation. But as you can all guess where this is going, they did not. Oh, and you might think this is just one bad apple, right? But no, my friends, this is not an isolated incident. This is like saying the 2008 financial crisis was caused by a couple of Wall Street guys who just got a bit too excited about subprime mortgages. Mustafa is part of a booming industry that, backed by medical device manufacturers, markets risky procedures to millions of Americans. Like the McDonald's of healthcare, only instead of selling you a Big Mac that might give you a heart attack, they're selling you procedures that might literally cost you an arm and a leg. And who are they targeting? The approximately 12 million Americans who suffer from peripheral artery disease. Well, they need treatment, right? So here's the biggest kicker of it all. Most of these people have mild or no symptoms that would require treatment beyond regular exercise and medication. I mean, you wouldn't prescribe chemotherapy for a cold, would you? Let's not forget about the atherectomies. If I said that wrong, don't come at me. A procedure where a wire equipped with a tiny blade or laser is used to eliminate plaque. Oh, it's like a tiny lightsaber battle happening inside your arteries. Yeah, just like that. This is just another chapter in the long, sad book of the American for-profit healthcare system. Remember Martin Shkreli, the farmer bro who raised the price of the life-saving drug from $13.50 to $750 overnight? Or the EpiPen scandal, where the price of the device that can stop deadly allergic reactions skyrocketed by 500%? It's like our healthcare system is a game show where the only winners are the ones making money, and the losers are, well, all of us. Let's say it loud and clear. Healthcare should be a right, not a privilege. And it certainly shouldn't be a high-stakes gamble where the house always wins. Because at the end of the day, we're not talking about stocks or real estate, we're talking about people's lives, and that's something we can't put a price on. Alice, what's last on the docket?
In Florida, Nico Japanese Steakhouse has announced its closure following allegations of methamphetamine poisoning. 7 people claimed they were poisoned with methamphetamines after eating at the restaurant's hibachi tables last month. The Santa Rosa County Sheriff's Office investigated the incident but closed the case without making an arrest due to a lack of evidence.
Okay, Florida, I've heard of adding a little extra spice to your food, but it's like Breaking Bad and Iron Chef had a baby, and that baby was a restaurant in Florida, of course. So the Santa Rosa County Sheriff's Office investigated the incident, but closed the case due to a lack of evidence. Now, the restaurant claims they're closing because of the backlash they received on social media, and I get it, social media can be brutal. One minute you're posting pictures of your avocado toast, and the next you're being accused of running a meth lab in your kitchen. I mean, it's the American dream, really. Anyhow, on the day of the alleged poisoning, the Florida Department of Business and Professional Regulation conducted an inspection and found a total of 31 violations. That's more violations than the number of times I've violated my New Year's resolution to stop making fun of Florida. So that's not gonna happen. These violations included employees switching from preparing raw to ready-to-eat food without washing their hands. Disgusting. Oh, and they were operating with an expired license. Can this story get any more Florida? Meth, expired license? Anyways, you know, the only thing worse than finding out your dinner was cooked on a dirty grill is finding out it was cooked on a dirty grill with meth. Say no to drugs. It's a personal choice. Do your research on it first. Anyhow, that wraps it up for us today. Thanks for stopping by for another episode of The Inside Hour. Don't forget to hit that like and or subscribe button. Do both. Who the hell keeps doing that? And we'll catch you next time.